Python comments explained why you need them in your code. Imagine trying to read a book with no punctuation or notes. It would be confusing, right? That's how code without comments can feel. Comments are like little notes that make your code clearer and easier to understand. In Python, comments are lines that the computer ignores when running your program. They start with the hash symbol. You write them to explain what your code does or why you chose a certain way to do something. This helps you and others understand your code later on. Comments are especially helpful when your code gets longer or more complicated. Instead of trying to remember what each part does, you can add a quick note. This makes it easier to fix bugs or update your code in the future. If you come back after weeks or months, comments will remind you of your original ideas. You can also use comments to temporarily turn off parts of your code. This is called commenting out code. When you do this, the computer skips over those lines. It's a handy way to test different ideas without deleting your original code. If something breaks, you can just remove the comment symbols and try again. Python has a simple way to write comments. Just put a hash symbol at the start of the line. Everything after that on the same line is ignored by the computer. For longer comments, you can write multiple lines starting with a hash. Or you can use triple quotes to create a block of text that Python ignores. These are called docstrings and are used to document functions and classes. Using comments wisely is important. Write clear and concise notes that explain what your code does and why. Avoid comments that just repeat what the code already shows. Instead, focus on explaining the purpose or tricky parts. You can also add reminders or notes about things you want to change later. Another good practice is to use comments to mark sections of your code. For example, you might write a comment that says, "This part handles user input," or "This is where the calculations happen." It helps organize your code and makes it easier to find specific parts when you need to update or debug. Finally, remember that comments are a way to communicate with yourself and others. They make your code more understandable and maintainable. When you take the time to add meaningful comments, you're helping ensure your program is easier to work with now and in the future. So, in the world of Python programming, comments are your best friends. They keep your code clear, organized, and ready for any changes or fixes you might need to make later on.